ball when they've added Buddy Hield and replaced Clay. Buddy Hield is actually playing defense for like one of the first times in his career. He has
Buddy Hield.
Dude, he has the motivation to play defense now, and he's always shot the ball so damn well. So I think that it's going to be, I think that addition's a lot bigger than what people give anything credit for.
Yes.
My pick tonight is Warriors. I think they're hand Cleveland the first losses.
Welcome, everybody. Brokers and basketball, NBA Pick'em. We're minus one guy here, but I'm sure he'll show up because we haven't heard. He's coming in now, coming in late, so we'll add him to
coming in hot.
Yeah, coming
right on.
Ooh.
Yeah, right.
Look at that slick Freight Vana Brandon Bill's hat. Look at that.
You know it.
So I was telling Trey, Josh, I said if he's not here when I hit live, I'm taking the Sales Dash CRM down. So we'll get you on the back half, but we'll get to that in a minute. So how's everybody doing today?
Doing great.
Doing awesome.
Glad to be here. Ready for Thanksgiving. I'll tell you that much.
I know, me too, man. I think that's my favorite holiday. Just all the food and just
food, football, the family. I mean, there's just it's hard to not, have a bad Thanksgiving.
It really is. So awesome. Well, some just recap real quick where we were last week. Kind of a crazy week. We got a lot of new people coming in that aren't here on the show but are getting in the pick'em, and I thought we were going to have a new winner for the week because Brendan Barrett was with, I think it's the Spot Freight was absolutely annihilating us out of the gate. But he came back to earth. Josh and I tied with him for the week, 20-7. So it came down to the tiebreaker. And actually, Josh and I tied exactly 20-7. And our total points on the last game was 221. I picked 223. Josh picked 219. So smack dab in the middle. So luckily for me, I didn't put in Price's Right rules. So we're good on that. But yeah. And then Trey, you were game out, and Nicholas, I think it's Keogh's, I'm guessing how I say it. We're both 19-8. So, a lot of people, and Tommy, we're going to have to change the strategy, man.
Hey, listen, still early. We're not stressing yet. After Christmas, we'll hit the panic button.
No, Tommy, I have your strategy. All you got to do is just pick the opposite of what you think. It's just one of those situations.
I'll do it.
The George Costanza method right here. Just totally go opposite, man. Whatever you think is right is wrong. You just got to go opposite.
That's what I need to do.
First thing is you got to stop picking the Bulls. You got to stop picking the Bulls. That's rule number one. Take the hat off, man.
I haven't taken them. I haven't not taken them this year, and it's hurt me.
Well, we see where that's leading you.
It's hurting me.
It's hurting.
It's hurting.
I'm a big fan.
I do the
opposite.
Teams, I never pick the Bulls. I go the exact opposite. I never pick the Bulls, and we see, that pick alone has changed where we are on the standings. Just that pick alone.
Yep, exactly. That's awesome. Well, we had some locks from last week too. You guys got to remind me who you guys had. Trey wasn't here, so I don't know if he had one, but
I did not have a lock last week. No.
Josh, do you remember your lock?
I do. I'm trying to figure it out right now. If I find it was Orlando over Philly.
I mean, anybody over the Bulls would be my lock. I mean,
that's what I did last week. I went Cleveland over the Bulls. I was like, sorry, Tommy, I got to pick that one. That one's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it was a no-brainer. I should have also taken Houston over the Bulls in my lock. I'll say this: I will not be choosing the Chicago Bulls in any more locks for the season. I got burned so bad on that Houston game. I think the Bulls lost by 30 plus. I'm almost going to give my fan card in.
Oh, that's awesome.
Brutal.
Love it.
Brutal. So Josh won, I won. Tommy is going to change his strategy. So that's probably a good idea. Yeah. So
Trey, I'm going to ask ChatGPT for a new strategy.
There you go.
It's they're going to tell you stop picking the Bulls. That'd be so funny if it said, first of all, stop picking the Bulls, and then
exactly.
I would love ChatGPT if it would do that. Oh man,
I know.
That'd be so great.
It's like it personalizes this for Tommy. That'd be awesome.
Right.
It's like, do not pick the Bulls. Whatever you do, don't pick them. That's awesome. God. Oh man. So we got one of the things that Trey, you kind of mentioned you wanted to chat about was just the step backs, traveling rules in the NBA. I mean, it's kind of.
Oh no! Is this about to turn into one of these sessions?
So, ahead, listen. This is one where I saw a video on X, and I just watched it in slow motion, and I'm like, this is like, these guys are first of all, these are the best athletes in the world. I think most people would say the basketball players, NBA basketball players, are probably the best overall athletes in the world outside of maybe an Ironman triathlete. Maybe, I don't know, but even then, I would probably take a basketball player overall in terms of just speed, quickness, agility, all the kind of things. Explosiveness. They're the best athletes in the world. Why are we giving them more than they need? Yeah. Like this video on X that we saw of Jason Tatum, clearly taking 5 steps to get into position to shoot a 3. Like it just drives me absolutely nuts. When I was in school, if I would catch the ball and kind of step into a shot and I didn't do it the right way, I got called for traveling for that because my pivot foot was technically my right foot. Then I put my left foot down and I'd step into it with my right foot, and I got called for traveling. And so I had to learn how to catch the ball with both feet on the ground. I had to learn how to stop and, take a jump shot, off of 1 foot, or stop off 2 feet and just take a jump shot. And here we have the best athletes in the world, and we're giving them 3 extra steps. And I just can't understand why this is okay.
It's Jason Tatum, so I agree. He should be called for that.
Well, I picked the right player then. Yeah, here we go. Nice.
Exactly.
Yeah, I just that's one thing that bothers me about some of the NBA rules is, again, like, these guys don't need any more. You see these travels like LeBron does, where literally he forgets to dribble and they just, whatever, let it go.
Well, I feel like that really started with James Harden and his step back.
Yes, 100%.
And it's just a quick little steps. And I feel like it's tough to see in real time, but it is really hard because, like, so much of it is
tough to see in real time. They're standing, and we all see it. How can we all see it? And the umpire right there can't see it.
Because to me, it's when, and it's really tough, but it's like once the dribble happens and when your initial foot takes off, is it happening at the same time as the dribble or right before? And that's
so that's in my opinion, the case for 1 step. Really well. That's not the case for 3 more steps. That might be the case for
Tatum
1 step. Dude, that was ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. And the guy's just sitting there looking at it. The umpire's actually in there just chilling, just looking in the video. Like, man, that's got to be the easiest job in the world.
Well, I was watching that game live too, so I was like, plus that one, you had the extreme push off.
Yeah, right.
At the end of the quarter, stares him down, knocks down the 3. You're like,
man, I know I'm going to sound old here. It would like, what if Bird or Jordan were able to get extra steps? Are you kidding me? Like, they already dominated the league.
Yeah.
I mean, Jordan had a good relationship with refs.
He did. He had a pretty good relationship with them. That's true.
Yeah.
I don't know about Bird.
Yeah. I mean, they were scared of him, and I don't blame them. I mean, everybody was scared of Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I feel like Tatum's benefit of the doubt that the refs are going to give them in that moment is like, if you make that call as a ref, people are going to start booing you and stuff. And I'm not saying that that's justifiable by any means, but
it's
a little bit in it.
Treatment.
Well, they've let it go for so long. It's like, how do you rein this back in?
I think it was Anthony Edwards that had that one dunk against New Orleans or somebody. And like, it should have been one of the top 10 greatest dunks ever. And then they called an offensive foul on it, charge. And it's just like, you don't want to see a charging call during that.
Yeah. Well, unless you're the one that gets dunked on.
Right.
And then
correct.
You did.
Yeah.
There's one person in the building that definitely did. That's for sure.
Yeah. Well, I think part of it too for me is, the league has really gone to being a showcase. And so offense, is more exciting in their mind. I like good hard-nosed basketball like we talked about in the Olympics, but the league has just gone to, it's an offensive league. And that's
like football has as well.
So,
gonna make it easier for the offense to score and, people like that. I mean, I'm still having trouble with the scores of these games just because we kind of joked around. Like my combined scores at the beginning were like 198.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to, the 88, 83 games of the 90s. And so I'm having to get used to, 120, 101 type things.
The majority of these games both teams are over 100. So, I mean, some of it's the defense, but some of these guys are just also really good on offense now these days. I think that honestly is more of it. I mean, I know defense can always be cranked up a little bit, but I really do believe that these guys offensively with the shooters and like the percentages that they shoot and everything are just they're that good. And when
you make 10 more threes a game per team, you're automatically getting 10 more points. Just from that compared to twos. I mean, threes back in the day were like exceptions.
Yeah.
You
Sure.
know, and now
That's a good point.
Now it's the rule. Now it's how people play.
Well, you know,
Interesting.
when the Euro first started being popular, it was probably, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago, whatever it was. So my youngest, you know, he had the Euro step down like in 5th grade. And we always had this one ref that would call a travel. And so one day I just finally went to him. I said, explain to me what you see. I go, because it's 1 step, 2 steps.
You're such a diplomatic parent. Explain to me
well,
what you see.
I'm a coach too. So it's like I was coaching. So I asked him after the game, I'm like, explain to me what you see so I can coach him, because I don't see it as a travel.
Right.
And he looks at me and he pauses and he's like, it's 2.5 steps. And I'm like,
what's a
the
half
F
step?
do you take a half a step?
Show me this half step you're talking
I know. I'm like, it's
Demonstrate
either a
this for
step
me.
or it's not.
Demonstrate that for me. I'm going to need
Yeah.
a real clear demonstration of that half step there, brother.
That's pretty funny, actually.
Yeah. So he was just like, after that, he didn't call it because he realized, he was like, so
Yeah, that's pretty
sometimes you
funny.
can win with a ref if you're nice, if you're not yelling at him in the middle of a game. So, but
Yeah.
it just cracked me up. It's like a half a step. I'm like, really?
I don't think I've ever heard that explanation.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
never.
terrible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, for me, it's an offensive league. Sometimes you watch it and you're like, or then you have Giannis, who, did you guys see the play the other night? He did 1 dribble all the way down the court. And
I did not see that, but I want
I
to
didn't
see it
see
now.
that
You said Giannis?
yeah,
Yeah, no, I was gonna bring up Giannis because Giannis definitely travels from the opposite free throw line and taking 1 dribble all the way to the bucket.
yeah. You know, it's just like, how do you do 1 step and dunk it? It's one
It's
dribble.
wild because he's also moving super fast.
He is, and he's huge, and his arms
Right.
are just, and nobody's going to get in his way. At least
No,
nobody smart is. They're going to get out of his way. So,
yeah,
awesome. What about? Well, I didn't talk about the year-to-date standings, but we're still pretty close on that too. I got a two game lead over Josh, 4 game lead over Trey, and
we know.
Tommy's
It's
in the
bad.
middle of the mix.
yeah,
It's bad at the moment. It's fine.
Yeah.
We're like the
I'm feeling-
76ers. We have hope. We don't have
Trust
hope.
the
We have
process.
hope. Trust the process,
process.
Dave.
I
We
I
have
don't know
hope.
if the Sixers have hope this year, man.
No, they don't have any hope this year. They are terrible.
Yeah. Well, speaking of the Sixers, I mean, what do
They
you
got the
guys
Rookie of the
think
Year.
about the Rookie of the Year race?
I mean, yeah, they got him.
Yeah, Jared McCain.
Jared McCain, no doubt.
He's
You
crushing
don't
it.
think I mean I like Dalton. I think
Yeah, Dalton Connect.
I think
he's
that's a
right there,
great
too.
story, by the way. The fact that he dropped so low in the draft, like think of all the teams that passed up on that.
Oh,
dude.
I know.
I would love to see that story, but so that
It's
if
really-
I'm putting money on it right now, that's what I'm putting money on.
Yeah, I'm going with Connect too, and the main reason is he doesn't need the ball like McCain does, and you know Maxey's coming back, just came back this week, so that's going to take the ball out of McCain's hand more. I mean, it feels like they're going to try to, you know, keep him in because he's doing so well, but his touches are going to be down. Where Connect, he doesn't need the touches; it's just catch and shoot for the most part.
Yeah, and he brings a lot. He brings a lot to them. He spaces out the floor
Yeah.
for him.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
Well,
he may not be as exciting to watch, maybe with the ball in his hands, but he's pretty electric.
yeah. Well, and the fact that McCain was the 16th pick and Dalton was the 17th pick, and
I know,
those are the 2 guys in the Rookie of the Year race at the top.
Well, there's a reason those 15 teams
Yeah.
are picking first.
I know.
Yep.
A bunch of idiots. Oh man,
Yeah. Who's the number 1 draft pick again?
I don't even remember.
Reece Shea for the Hawks. We don't have to talk about it. He's gonna be a solid role player for
Solid
everybody,
6
all right?
man.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah, I just threw that
10
out there
points a
for
game.
Josh since it was
Yeah.
Atlanta.
I know.
I mean, think about this. Like, Jordan won Rookie of the Year his year, and he was picked 3rd. So there were 2 teams that picked ahead of him. Okay, that's reasonable. You could maybe miss, right? Or maybe you're going for a big player, something like that. If the Rookie of the Year comes out as 16 or 17, I mean, that's pretty bad for those other 15 teams.
This is also a draft that people are saying this may be the worst draft since I mean, basically in the past at least 20 years or so. I mean, I think everybody knew that going into it. So even when the Hawks won the lottery, everybody in Atlanta is like, of course they win the lottery the year.
Yeah, the year with nobody's there.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm not even. I'm just. Hey, get another one. Do it again next year. That's really the big goal, I think.
Yeah,
that's the big goal.
right. Do it again.
Yeah,
So,
it is cool though to see those guys connecting. And McCain, because I mean, if you think about it for them, like those are guys where you would, especially going into the beginning of the year, you would never bet to be rookie of the year just because you got LeBron and AD on one team and you've got Maxey and Embiid on the other team.
and PG.
And and PG. I forgot about PG. So yeah, and I saw a video of McCain and Embiid was getting pretty pissed off because he didn't do a little dish off to him. And, you know, he took a floater and whatnot. But I don't know. I think it's cool to see. And I feel like Philly's going to shake up their team a little bit because they're in shambles right now. They're close to 2-10, 2-9 or something like that.
I think
They clearly just I feel not to single the guy out, but I almost feel like something's got to be held a little bit accountable on Paul George at this point for how many times this guy has moved. And I'm a Paul George fan. I really like Paul George when he was in Indy and when those guys were making the run at LeBron. And like, to me, he should never have left that situation because like that's the guy you got to beat to take the hump, to be above everybody else. And then like you kind of ran from it a little bit. With more talent, and you still lost, and didn't even really advance even as far as you did with Indy. So I feel like from his stint with OKC and then the Clippers and then now, it's just kind of not really a good look for what his legacy could have been, I think.
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah, I don't think he has much of a legacy at this point, honestly. I think he's going to be pretty forgotten. I mean, he's a great player, but if you don't win and if you don't slay the dragon in this league, it's hard to be remembered. I mean, we remember Charles Barkley maybe more because he's been on TNT for the last 20 years than he was a great player, never won. Yeah, but he's been top of mind. But like if you can't win, you get forgotten pretty easily. And you think about like, KD did the same thing. He ran away and ran to it, but he won, and he was like MVP of that team. Like he clearly has a different legacy, even though he did the same thing pretty much.
Yeah, he won it and put him away twice. Same shot too.
Yeah. Oh, I know, right? That's funny that you mentioned that. Yeah. Sixers are 2-12. What's
2-12.
Trust the process, baby.
Yeah.
Dang, Chicago fans feel good.
We are feeling great right now.
Yeah. That's funny.
Yeah, that's
listen, with Milwaukee at 6-9, we feel tremendous at 6-10.
Right.
One move away from
we're 6-9.
We're one move away. Yeah, it's awful. Milwaukee's 6-9, but they just got off to such a weird start. Like they looked like they had absolutely no chemistry on the floor whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that happens. I mean, every year's a new team, and you can project all you want. You just don't know what it's going to be like till you get on the floor sometimes.
Yeah.
And in this league, I mean, if you're a little out of sync, if your timing's off a little bit, and it costs you 5 points, 6 points a game for a while, that's an easy way to lose some games pretty quickly. So, I'm not terribly shocked in those situations. Now, if you're 40 games in and your record still reflects that, okay, now there's some problems. But early on, got to figure it out.
Do they make another trade, or do they fire Doc Rivers? Are you guys bullish on Doc Rivers?
I am not a Doc Rivers fan at all.
Not a Doc Rivers guy.
Yeah. I mean, he won the one championship, but I think it was just the right place, the right time. And
he had the big three too. I mean, like you put those guys together, they're pretty solid. You just don't mess it up.
Who did Milwaukee? I don't even remember the coach last year. They fired him, and ever since they fired him and brought in Doc, it's just been horrible.
Yeah. I feel like
Adrian something. I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, Doc's interesting because he has. If they hadn't won in Boston, he'd have the similar Paul George legacy.
Yeah,
like decent. You stay in the league, but you haven't done anything.
Had all the talent.
Now he gets the coattails of having won a championship. So now teams are like, oh well, let's bring in a championship coach.
Yeah,
but he doesn't get the job done. I mean, yeah.
I just think plenty of teams.
I think great coaches win wherever they go. We've seen that.
Yeah,
and so he's been several places and he hasn't won again. So I think at some point you got to be like, okay, maybe there was something about that year that was unique. It wasn't him.
Yeah, as a players. Well, and
Yeah.
that was when they had Rondo during that time, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rondo was there.
You know, I mean, Rondo, I think, is one of those unsung
solid.
point guards.
Yeah,
I
dude.
mean, that guy
Didn't make
sees
mistakes. Locker room guy.
Yeah,
Total
I mean,
general out there on the floor. Yeah.
and knows every play, knows where everybody's supposed to be, and you know he can. Because I know him and Doc didn't get along early in their career, but in Boston they did because it's like now that trust was there. So Rondo was running the show really,
Right.
at point guard.
Right. Yeah.
So,
He probably could have done the substitutions.
right.
Yeah.
Get out of here. Give me him. Get him.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, one thing I wanted to bring up since we're thinking about coaches is Kenny Atkinson in Cleveland has to be made one of the best moves in the recent years when he didn't take that Charlotte Hornets job.
Ooh, yeah.
You know, because I think he took it and then he declined it, and now he's in Cleveland, and it's like, if you want your career to die, you go to Charlotte.
Yeah, that's the truth.
Yeah.
Because he was, you know, he's a championship guy. He was with the Warriors on the bench, and I think he did a pretty good job in Brooklyn too, and kind of got the shaft there, if I remember correctly. And now he's, you know, he's got a team and they're 16-1.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, it really came together.
Coaching matters.
Coaching matters, man. We see that in the NFL right now. See it in the NBA. You see, I mean, you see guys that win consistently no matter where they are, or just win consistently even if they're at one spot. And it's not an accident. No. One time is an accident.
Yeah.
Multiple times, no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is normally when you throw in a Chiefs reference. I'm really disappointed that you didn't.
Well, I know that I've done that enough. I could have definitely. It would have been an easy one to slide in.
I was like just pausing and waiting. I'm like, here comes the reference.
Yeah, what I'm doing is I'm training you guys. I'm training you guys so that you just start putting. See, you brought it up. Now I didn't bring it up. Now you brought it up. So
you trained me like Pablo's dog.
Right? You knew where I was going. You connected the dots without me. I mean, it's easy enough.
Come on, Trey. We have an over/under on the side that you don't know about.
Yeah.
My bad. I'll do my part. Next time.
Yeah. Awesome.
So did you guys see that they're going to potentially look at changing the All-Star format?
Yeah.
I did not see that.
I think that would actually be pretty cool. I don't know the details of it, but the proposal was 4 teams.
Yeah.
To actually have 4 teams, do it a little bit more bracket style, which I think would be good because a lot of times you have those guys that are all-stars and, you know, kind of coming up and they don't get much playing time in the all-star game, or they're just also just not exciting all-star players.
4-team tournament, and then you have a championship team for the all-star break. I mean, I think anything would be better than what they have now.
Yeah.
What they have
Why?
now, it's just, I hate what they have now. It's so terrible.
I'm not a fan.
Why would you go to it? Why would you watch it?
Why is it bad? Explain it to me.
Well, so I'm a fan of when the best players get together and they're the most competitive people on the planet, that they want to still kill each other. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that. And when you take that away from it, I just think it loses the reason why you're there. These are the best players in the world. You know, I want to see, you know, Michael D up Magic and see if he can stop him and vice versa. I want to see Larry have to work for the 3 and for the best defender in the league. Like I just want to see that. I don't want to see guys just run up and down the court, just shooting threes and throwing up lobs and doing that kind of stuff. Maybe they have a fun game. Maybe they have that and then they have a competitive game. And I understand why they don't do that, because they're afraid to get injured. That also pisses me off about this era, is that they're just so afraid of either getting tired or getting injured. And I know it's big money in it. I get it, but they're competitors. Like, let them, get after it, boys. Like, let's go after it. Those games of practice in the Olympics in 1992 are still talked about to this day because of how competitive they were. And I just think they need to bring that back. I'm a competitor. I don't want to see people just out there fluffing it around. I hate that. That's not fun. You can fluff it around in a 3-point contest. You can fluff around in the skills challenge or in the dunk contest and try fun stuff and do all kind of stuff. In the game, play the game.
Yeah.
Like, get after it. So if there's a tournament where there's a winner and there's just something, whatever, if that does it, great. I'd love that.
Yeah, I think they could put money on the line or something. I do think it's been more competitive.
I don't think they care about money. They're making
years.
$50 million a year. That's not going to do it.
NBA Cup says otherwise.
Yeah.
I just
Well, the NBA Cup though is like all the players on the team that aren't making a lot of money can make money. This is the stars who are already making money. They don't like.
Yeah,
I know. I think we've seen some pretty good all-stars in the past 3 years, in my opinion. Like, at least in the fourth quarter, it's gotten pretty competitive, pretty chippy.
Yeah.
And I know in the first quarter, second quarter, they're throwing bombs from half court, but Steph's still making them. Okay, so
Steph gets a pass.
Him and Dame.
Nobody else. Him and Dame. Nobody else gets a pass.
Yeah.
Those two can shoot anytime they want.
Yeah, they're still making them. But I don't know. I think there's been a couple recently where it's been like super exciting to watch. Like the one year LeBron and Steph were finally on the same team was a lot of fun. I thought to actually see them get the team up together. But yeah, you just kind of have to be patient for the fourth quarter. But of course, like you want to see who was it? D Wade that elbowed Kobe, and Kobe got like a broken nose or something like that. You're just not going to see that too often. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know if Dame's going to be an all-star this year, the way that guy's playing, man. I was watching him the other night, and his shot looks off to me. It's crazy. So,
about to see.
I mean, there's too many good guards for him. Sounds like Jared McCain's playing better than him.
Yeah. Well, especially if you're 6 and 9, you're not going to be there. And that's another point with McCain. Do they give a rookie of the year if your winning percentage is 250 or less?
Yeah, if your team wins 10 games.
That's
hard to do. I mean, I think you have to factor that in a little bit. Obviously, a rookie it's going to be hard for them to necessarily be on a team that wins a championship. And it's okay, but are they making a difference? Are they making an impact? And if your team is worse than they were the year before, but you balled out, it's like, I don't know.
Even if it's not your fault, right? It's still going to sway voters because you can go to the Lakers and look and say, well, Dalton's that piece that AD and LeBron really is always needed. Somebody that's going to stretch the floor,
fits perfect,
catch and shoot. Big guard. I mean, he keeps the ball so high too.
He does. Yeah.
Kind of Larry Bird.
He's a walking bucket.
He is. I mean, 9 3-pointers the other night, 9 of 12. It's 37 points. Nuts. So, yeah. What about you guys have a performance of the week that stood out to you guys that we haven't already chatted about?
Ooh, new segment.
Man, I don't because I didn't watch anything because I just got back yesterday from Chattanooga.
What was your?
I feel like just
hey, this is Brokers in Basketball. So, what was your performance of the week at F3?
Cool. I wasn't there, but I heard.
Lots of vendors.
Yeah,
lots of vendors. It was good. I felt like some of the content and the speakers and stuff. I always enjoy that part and to listen to some of the commentary and stuff, and then just catch up with friends, build some vendor relationships and stuff. And I feel like for time of the year, with it being mid to late November, it's like a good time of the year to actually have the conference versus more so in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was good. Drew on my team was his first conference that he's gotten to go to in freight, so it was a lot of fun to have him tag along and join and stuff. And we ran around a little bit, visited a couple customers, and even one of his customers that he onboarded.
I heard Stone Temple Pilots was pretty impressive.
Yeah, they were. Drew had a blast. I hung around for like 3 songs. Not gonna lie, didn't listen to Stone Temple Pilots growing up in Atlanta, but so I went and hung out with Rob Light and Kara Brown for like an hour while that was going on.
Nice, that's good company.
When I saw Stone Temple Pilots, I was like, wow, that's. I mean, maybe
they were good.
Maybe I'm old, but they're a good band.
They were a good band. They were a solid 90s band. Solid 90s band.
They got after it.
Yeah. All right. So, Trey, you got a performance of the week?
I mean, outside of Dalton, I don't. No, I thought that was pretty impressive. I saw the change in his odds for Rookie of the Year after that game, and they changed dramatically after that. Kind of, I mean, I wouldn't say put him on the map, but definitely put him on people's radar a little bit more after that game. So I think that was a big step forward in his career to put up that many points. To have I mean, you got to think that he's going to take a lot of confidence out of that game, even more so after a night like that. I mean, I've never put up that many points. I have in some intramural stuff, but who cares? But never in a game. Like 27 was the most I ever put up in a game. And I remember after that game, I felt like the freaking king of the world. And here he is playing for the Lakers, putting up 37.
Yeah, no,
it's pretty impressive.
Tell me, what's your performance of the week?
I think I've got to go Dalton too. I mean, he had 2 back-to-back tremendous games, Pelicans and then Utah. The kid is just like Josh said, he's a walking bucket. Can't bet against him.
Yeah. I mean, that's mine really. I mean, I'm a Laker fan too, so that's easy for me. But I remember watching the draft, and I'm like, because for whatever reason I saw a lot of his games last year. Because he transferred to Tennessee, it was first year there. but he was a bucket in college, and it's like that guy is NBA ready.
Yes.
He's got the size, the tools. Yeah.
Easily the best scorer in the draft. Like you didn't need to watch any of the combine, anything. Like you just watched the guy play at Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
That guy could fill it up. And there's so many teams out there that I feel like that could use that. Whether even if it's just you're just considering it off the bench. I mean, that guy's at least going to pop off for 20.
Right.
So and he's got the size, like good release point and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I remember watching. I'm like, he might slide to the Lakers. I'm like, this is nuts.
That was pretty crazy. Yeah.
And nobody's gonna remember who they've drafted in the second round except for who it is. Being Bronny James. Turned out to be a great draft, even though they wasted their second pick.
Yeah.
But I mean, he's amazing. So that was definitely my performance of the week when I was looking at that. I'm like, the guy is just crazy. Well, they choked last night. I don't know if you guys saw it since it's a West Coast game. AD missed 2 free throws with like 20 something seconds to go. And then Franz Wagner goes down and hits a 3 in his face to win it. You're just like,
he had a big performance.
Yeah. He had 37 last night as well. Franz did. So it's like, and that's hard for a East Coast team to go in and win on the West Coast, in my opinion. So, great point here, Nicholas. Brandon Miller, I think he had 38. Was it last night or the night? It was 2 nights ago, I think.
Last night against the Pistons.
Was it last night? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They went to overtime, right? Yeah. So
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great performance too. So I mean, he definitely could have been up there for a performance of the week because you got him and LaMelo scored 73 combined, which is it was overtime game, but it's still 73 points. With the two of them, pretty amazing.
Yeah, who would have thought that LaMelo Ball would be the one that would be sticking around and making waves? I don't know. I definitely. Go ahead.
I was gonna say he played varsity, I think, as a freshman, and granted he was super small as a freshman, and then he just skyrocketed and grew
shot back in the day. Like if you just looked at it, 8 years ago, you would not have thought that he was going to be the standout, Ball of the family. I mean, Lonzo obviously was probably the one that everybody thought Langelo, what is it, Loangelo? I can't remember the one. He definitely was not. But I don't know that I would have picked LaMelo as being the one that actually was able to stick and make some waves, but. He's impressive. He's an impressive kid, that's for sure. It's a fun backcourt.
I mean, it definitely helps that he's 6'7". I don't like when you just watched him early on when Lonzo was the main one. You just kind of anticipate, he's probably going to be Lonzo's height. But I mean, LaMelo's tall, and then having him and Brandon Miller with what Nick's talking about. I mean, you got 2 tall, lengthy guys that can that can fill it up. I mean, I feel like the biggest thing is. One, I feel like the team's a little immature. They've got some growing up to do, and hopefully they do. And I saw like they've added some vets in there, like Taj Gibson and some other people. Shout out to Taj Gibson, Chicago Bull legend. But hopefully they can. Hopefully they just have the right coaching staff and whatnot. Because I mean that team, if they can continue to draft pretty good, they can be dangerous down the road. It's just going to take more pieces.
Yeah. Yeah, the thing for me with LaMelo is, when you are playing up, you have to adapt your game because it's not strength, it's not size. And, I always talk about my kid being undersized. So it's like you just see the game different. Then he grew, so now he's got the size. He can get a shot off and do some creative things as well.
Yeah, it's the Scottie Pippen effect, you know?
Yeah.
It's
Anthony Davis too.
Anthony Davis. That's right. Yeah, he grew up as a guard, a short kid. You got all these ball handling skills and shooting skills, and then nature says, "Well, I think I'm going to add a foot." All right, whatever.
For that.
And here's my thought about that. I wonder, Anthony Davis missed those 2 free throws, and you see this a lot especially from big players. You see a lot of times free throws are a struggle for a lot of big players. And I was thinking about this for a long time, like. I think my theory is now, have you guys ever tried to shoot one of those like small, like Rubbermaid balls on on a goal? And it's super small compared to your hand. It's almost like a big softball or something, right? It's hard to be consistent with that thing. I think it's easier to be consistent with a basketball with my smaller hands. I imagine that those guys struggle with that too, because their hands are so big. And the ball has got to seem small, It's like that's got to be sometimes a hard thing to do because if I'm shooting on a little 4-foot rim somewhere in the house with those small balls, it's not as easy as it looks. You'd think it'd be super easy. It's got to be relative in that regard. So
Yeah, because you end up throwing it more than shooting it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of big. I mean, there's a couple of big people that can shoot free throws, but there's not a lot of them that have historically been great at free throws. So it's kind of that 6'1" to 6'7" range is like the ideal size of a guy that hits a lot of free throws.
Yeah.
Bird kind of beat that a little bit at 6'9", but
what's Jokic? I mean, he's pretty decent.
yeah, he's decent. I think he's 6'11".
Jokic is decent.
7.
Yeah.
What was his height? Yeah, he's pretty decent. I mean, there are some. I'm just saying historically.
Yeah.
I think that's probably a difficult thing to do because the ball probably feels so small in your hands. They're just used to dunking it.
Seriously.
Just putting it to the rim.
Yep.
You know?
That's why it's impressive with Kawhi too, because Kawhi's hands are massive.
Huge.
Yeah.
And Kawhi can shoot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
Jordan's the
got
same
better
way.
at
He had
shooting coming out of college.
Yeah. Jordan had the hands of a 6'11" dude on a 6'6" guy. It's just not fair.
Yeah. I know. I always think about when he did that. He does that with the ball.
Oh,
It's like,
against Mark Price on the Cleveland Cavaliers, and he spun him around. Oh, one of my favorites. I can relate to that.
he just little brothered him bad in that.
Totally. You're pulling it out here and then just going over the top of his head and bringing it back up. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. So locks of the week. What do we got for locks of the week?
Let's pull up the
Keep in
schedule.
mind tonight's the NBA Cup, so that always adds a different feel to it, which is crazy because what did I say? I think only the top 6 plus 2 wild cards, or the winners and then 2 wild cards. So there's going to be, like the Celtics and the Cavs are in the same NBA Cup group. I mean, one of them couldn't make it as a wild card, but they're both 1-1.
Yep, I got to go with my steady pick. My lock is the Grizzlies over the Bulls.
I think we need to switch this up.
No.
I think we need to switch this up, and we need to do upset pick of the week.
Okay.
Because we know Boston's going to beat Washington, and we know the Bulls are going to lose. Tommy.
No, they're going to
be
the Bulls for the
lost.
upset pick.
No, definitely not.
Let's go upset picks.
All right. I like that.
All right. Well, I got to go against who I have here. Let's see.
Yeah, I gotta take a look here.
All right.
I've got Pistons over Magic. Yeah, Magic were actually my lock last week, but I'm gonna have them losing at home against Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
I'm not prepared for this, Josh.
I know. It's like that's harder than you think.
Upsets get a little bit more tough.
All right. Here's what I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go Philly over the Nets at home.
Woo.
They're gonna break out and get a win. Their one win in 10 days is gonna happen against the Nets at home.
I don't know. Philly's -4.5, so I don't know if I'm gonna count this as an upset.
That's true, but but look at their record. They suck. So this will be good. We'd have to go by the betting line to find an underdog to be an upset. Is that going to be part of the rules here?
Okay, I'll make the rules.
I think so, honestly.
All right.
Yeah. You gotta consider that because it's sad that would be an upset pick. Because it's not really anymore.
All right, I got a fun one. I'm going to go Raptors over Cleveland on Sunday night.
Oh, that's a big
wow.
one.
That is a big one.
And so we got to make this as our pick though too, right?
Yeah, that's the thing. Is you gotta believe in it.
Yeah,
I'll believe it.
I'm making it as my pick.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go Charlotte over Milwaukee.
Okay.
Yeah,
Milwaukee's at home too. Yeah, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Well,
All right.
There's a lot of those I'm looking. I'm like, ooh, I don't know that there's a lot of
What's
a lot
the
of 50-50 games, but
What's the line on the Wizards at Indiana?
Wizards at Indiana. I would say that's definitely going to be Indiana's favor.
Yeah, I would assume that. I'll take that one.
all right.
I'll take that one. Change my.
He's riding with Jordan Poole.
See what happens.
Oh, Jordan. Nick, if you're still on here, drop you're a big aficionado. Drop your upset pick in the comments.
Yeah, dude, that pick's gonna cost.
Let's get Nick's
right
pick
now. I can feel it.
I know. It's like, man, that changes my strategy on some of these,
So we have to have an upset pick of the week that we share. I like it. All right, I'm down with that. I like that.
Oh yeah,
that's good. Awesome. Josh, did you say yours yet?
Yeah, I've got who is this? I had Detroit over the Magic. Magic are at home that game too.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that was one I actually like when I was picking. I was like, that's close. Because actually, what I did is I looked at because that's a Saturday game, so it's not an NBA Cup game. I think if it was an NBA Cup game, I might have thought about picking Pistons because they're 2-0 in group play for the NBA Cup. So if that was an NBA
I didn't even know that. That's good to know.
Yeah. So it's a Saturday game, so it's not a NBA Cup game, but they've surprised me. You know how there's teams you get and you just can never pick them? That's the Pacers for me this year. I feel like every game I have picked the Pacers wrong.
Yeah.
They're tough. It's tough because they advanced far last year, and I don't know. Halliburton's he's good, but he's also a little inconsistent.
Listen, I'm pulling for him to get the playoffs and maybe get past the first round because then maybe they'll have a home game during the Broker Carrier Summit. That's all I'm saying.
That'd be sweet.
That would be awesome.
Playoff game in Indiana. That'd be pretty dope.
Now we're all Indiana fans.
That's right. Now we're all come on, Indiana. Do us a favor.
They got a chance. They got a good team. I actually like their team, and they also I don't think it was talked about, but they had one missing piece last year that I think would have really helped them. And I can't remember if he was a rookie last year or the year before, but it's Ben Mathurin out of Arizona. He's
just need him to finish like 8, 7, 6 somewhere in there. Just need him to move up a little bit so they got a better chance of getting past the first round.
Well, talking about standings, you look at the West. You got the Suns are in 6th place at 9-7, and then you go all the way down to the Spurs are 8-8, and they're
the 2 spots
place.
out, right?
I mean, it's just so logjam.
It's so early. Yeah, it's
early. It is. Like somebody goes on a run because the T-Wolves are 8-7, Mavs are 8-7, Kings are 8-7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're just beating each other up. Pretty much.
There's 4 teams in the East right now that are 6-9 or something, and they're in the playoff hunt. So maybe Chicago goes on a run and slides into the 7th spot.
They're the old AFC West before Patrick Mahomes got there.
This is how little I believe in the Bulls. I think the Raptors at 4-12 will win more games than the Bulls will by the end of the season.
I would take that. Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. I think they will.
Well, they just got Scotty Barnes back too. He was out.
Yeah, he was out, and they've lost a ton of games by 2 to 7 points. They've looked really bad in clutch time without Scotty Barnes. So I think with him coming back, they're going to go on a nice run, which is why I picked him this weekend as an upset.
Listen, I'm here for this bullying the Bulls thing. I'm here for it. I mean,
I love the Bulls, but I'm ready to blow it up, fire everyone, get rid of everyone, get a bunch of draft picks, and go
blow the whole thing up.
Yeah, blow it up.
I love it.
Well, then you got the Rockets out west at 11-5 in 3rd spot. It's that's nuts.
Coaching.
Sometimes we need to talk also about coaching for sure. We need to talk about best cities for expansion.
Ime Udoka.
Who is it? Sorry,
Udoka.
Okay.
Sometimes we got to have a little debate about the best
HR nightmare. Ime Udoka
for expansion.
Yep.
About expansion, is that what you said?
Yeah. I mean, I'm desperately wanting Seattle to have a basketball team again. I mean, just desperately. I'd love for St. Louis or Kansas City just to have it closer to home. I don't think either of those markets are ever going to have it. Although Kansas City is definitely growing as a sports town. Mm-hmm. They've got the Sprint Center now downtown. They could definitely do it. St. Louis is never going to do it. We just suck at football and basketball, fan bases here.
Well, Seattle's a hoop town. I mean,
it is.
Yeah,
it's a total hoop town. I still it blows my mind that they don't have a team. I still can't figure that out. I mean, you got Oklahoma City and Memphis with teams, and no offense, but you don't look at those towns and necessarily think hoops, and they clearly are doing well in terms of fan bases and support.
Yeah.
And I still don't understand why Seattle just hasn't. I mean, look, Bezos has enough money; he can just buy his own franchise and build it right away and support. Like, come on, let's make this happen.
Right. Yeah, I'd be behind that. They need a team.
Yep. And I think there's more opportunities, in places like, I don't know if Birmingham would ever be a team, but like Alabama's had some good basketball teams. It'd be interesting to see if like a Southern team could do that. No more Southern teams, Josh? Nothing?
No, man, I was just in Birmingham. I always joke with Will over there for Black Box. They call it Magic City, dude, but we're still looking for the magic there. They say it's at Black Box HQ, but there's limited magic in Birmingham.
Oh, man. What about Pittsburgh?
That's kind of crazy, yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, you got Cleveland, you got Philadelphia. I mean, I don't understand why Pittsburgh is not a basketball town when all the other towns are just like them, have a team.
Yeah.
I mean, they're right in between the two.
Yeah, obviously they have NFL history.
Hockey.
Hockey.
Yeah. I don't
baseball.
know. Yeah. I mean, they've got, I don't know. There's just some cities that baffle me why they don't have a team, but I don't know.
Yeah.
And then you got New York with two teams that always, perennially suck.
I know. I know. Knicks are going to do it this year.
Knicks have improved last year and a half. That's true. But if you look back over the last 20 years, I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Neither of those teams have done anything for that city at all.
True. At all.
Yeah.
So
awesome. Well, you got to get going, Trey. You got
Word of the Street coming up.
Word on the Street coming up. So
14 minutes. We got Adam Wingfield on today. Got some carrier topics we're going to be talking about. He's a great guy to have on the show. We're going to talk about a little Freight Waves recap. That'll be on the show today as well. And also going to be talking about Bitcoin nearing 100K and what's happening with government efficiency. All kinds of fun stuff on the show today. It's going to be good.
You got any other stock tips or
Oh, no, I don't have stock tips. Get to know Nancy Pelosi, getting her inner circle. Probably the best stock tip I can give is somehow get in Nancy Pelosi's inner circle, get on her watch list. I do like the Twitter handle. I can't remember what it is, but there is a Twitter handle that just follows her stock trades.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
I've often wondered if you took 10 grand and just did everything she did when she did it, what would that look like in a year? I'd be curious to find out. I think it's worth.
There's an app that'll do that for you now.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah.
And why are people
That's
not
unbelievable?
I need to do this.
Yeah.
Jeez.
No, awesome.
That's smart.
Awesome, guys. Well, thanks again. Week 3 or week 4, I guess it is, but I don't know, week 4, week 5, whatever it is, but just having a good time.
You're going down, Kale. You're going down.
One last thing. I'm just going to throw this vision out there for everybody. All right. I think we need to look ahead to 2025 to the spring season after the New Year's and find a game that we all want to meet together and go to.
Oh yeah.
Heck yeah.
I'm down for that.
Oh yeah.
Figure that out. That'll be fun. And we'll just invite some of the people who are in the pool. Anybody else wants to join us.
Yeah.
We do have a lot of meetups for Broker Carrier Summit in cities that have NBA teams. So maybe we can work it out where there's a game.
Yeah, let me know
the night before or something or night after.
Yep.
Josh, I know you and I did that down in Phoenix. That was a blast.
Yeah, let's do that. There's
We'll
a
have
lot of fun.
to make that happen for sure. All right, fellas. Good to see you.
Yeah. See you guys.
See you,
Peace.
See you guys. Cheers.